very, very particular on who we present to our community, who we partner with, and this was just a match made in heaven with the guys over here at KERC. My name's Shane, aka Madrid. I'm the team lead here at ARBIDEX. Most of you guys know me. If you don't, that's who I am. And yeah, so if Joyler and Snorky, if you guys want to introduce yourselves and give a little background on who you are and how you got started in the space.
Yeah, for sure. I'll go first then. My name's John. I go by Joyla because it's just some name that I just came up with years ago, and it just stuck, and I'm just too lazy to find any other name. And I've been in the health industry for nearly a decade plus now. Started off with medical tourism. Big fan of the whole DeFi space, crypto space. Got into this whole field couple of years ago. Started being as an investor, going in deep. That's where I met Snorky and some of our good friends, made some good friends here as well. And I think about 6 months ago is when we started ball rolling this project idea, and that's how it came to be. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. I'll hand it off to Snorky to introduce himself.
Yo, my name is Steve. I go by SnorkyPie here on Discord. I'm the dev over at KERC, and I spent the last 25 or so years building back-end and front-end applications professionally. I came in pretty late to the crypto scene, like 1.5 years ago, and I was thrown straight into the Node and Ponzi season, which was fun. So also, this is my first ever EMA, so I am going to try to stay a little bit quiet because I am super nervous. So that's that.
The man, the myth, the legend. You guys heard him here first. Yeah, a year and a half ago, that was a tough time to get into DeFi. That was right at the end of the bull, basically, and all the Ponzi's were really thumping, and then it crashed. So. Luckily, we're definitely looking at some greener pastures here in the crypto realm. I think we've definitely gone through the most of the blood, and I think that everyone here is going to be really excited with what's coming out in crypto here coming in the next few months. So why don't you guys, for the people that don't know, there are some people that are a little bit familiar. Why don't you guys kind of give us a rundown? What is KERC? What is KERC? What is your project?
Yes. So thanks for that, and once again, thank you for hosting us. So before we begin, so KERC is basically crypto IO. It's just a name that we sort of figured out that sort of would stand the standard, because we don't see this as a project that's going to be a short-term project. We look at this as a project that we're going to go quite long-term, and we hopefully can sort of become the standard of healthcare tokenization and healthcare in the whole blockchain space. So what we are starting to do and how we're trying to redefine the whole healthcare space with blockchain and DeFi is that we are starting to acquire primary care assets, primary first, within Southeast Asia. We're starting off specifically in Malaysia because the value of the assets here are severely undervalued, and we can definitely ROI those assets within a year. And this is where we sort of start pushing those assets into our portfolio. And once it's in our portfolio, it's very easy to sort of push those innovations that we're talking about. So that's a very quick and I would say run basic layman summary. You can definitely read more in terms of a deeper dive into our white paper and stuff like that.
Great. So what was the inspiration behind KERC? Like what were you doing, and what basically kind of came to you guys' mindset that this is something that the space needs, and what kind of inspired you to go in this direction?
Yeah, so I think we just banded together, like me and Snorky, like we became friends through the whole node season. We were investing in a few projects together, and we sort of banded together in the pain and tribulation of that season. And the whole vision of this was to basically create a project that is utility first and revenue first before anything else. So obviously we know there's a lot of innovation in the crypto space, so that's why a lot of projects are idea first and vision first in that sense. Then the revenue start coming in. So we decided, hey, look, why don't we reverse it the other way, and let's see how we can sort of create a project that is a more revenue first, then the vision and everything else will follow. So I've been running healthcare assets personally under my arm and under my own personal company on the ground for about 3 years now during the whole COVID season. Got an opportunity to basically manage these assets, and we managed to turnkey them around to generate about 60 to 80% revenue year on year. Then we handed off those assets back to the people who sort of let us manage them, and they turned in quite a big profit in terms of multiple for it. So basically I decided, hey, look, why can't I do this for myself now, in a sense where I can basically create, because since I have the idea and the structure to sort of create the system, why can't I just do it for myself now? And instead of going to the PEs and VCs, let's do it in the crypto space. Let's bring the investments back to all and the earnings back to all the people in the DeFi space, while also changing the space. So this is not an MVP that we're trying to create. This is sort of a track record proven business model that we've worked before, and we're basically just adding the whole tokenization and the modernization into the healthcare industry through this project.
Yeah, man, that's really, really refreshing. I think that you hit the nail right on the head, that many people start out with just a vision and don't have the revenue aspect nailed down. So it's very refreshing, very exciting to hear that, this project is focusing solely on revenue right out of the gate, and going to start churning profits, because in order for, and that's what this space needs is, in DeFi, we need real world revenue actually funneling into the DeFi and crypto space. There is no money here if we are not bringing money from the outside in, and that's a beautiful cycle that you guys are basically creating, where you're basically taking DeFi money to make real world money, and increasing that portfolio to the fact that you're able to bring it right back in, and that's something we really, really need in this space. Very excited to hear about that.
For sure, you hit the nail on the spot. Definitely.
Yeah. So, what are your plans for launching? We have some whitelist spots that we plan on giving out to some of our community members, and how they can participate. I believe you guys have a pre-sale that's coming up.
Yes, we do. So basically, we have a pre-sale that'll be launching on the 24th, but we do have a whitelist close sale on the 18th. That would so you hear it first. Here first. It will run for 3 days, not only just on the 18th, so it just gives some people some time to sort of manage all their expectations of what they're doing for. There will be a slight discounted entry for the whitelisted people compared to the pre-sale side. So we thought it would be a nice way to sort of give back to the community as well, to engage in some level of fun and enjoyment in our Discord. So I think that's the long and short of it.
Okay. So you've got your whitelist sale on the 18th. The pre-sale starts the 24th.
That's correct.
The public pre-sale. Okay.
Yes, correct.
So that's when you guys can get in, if you guys are lucky enough to get a whitelist spot, to get in on the 18th sale. Make sure you guys are ready for that. The public pre-sale, if you're not able to get a whitelist spot, you definitely want to participate in that on the 24th. Now, are you able to participate in, where can I participate in this pre-sale? Is it just only on Arbitrum, or how do I participate if I want to get into KERC?
Yeah, I think we definitely missed that part. Good question, because we definitely missed that part early on. The whole KERC project is going to start on Arbitrum. That's why ARBIDEX is one of our, I think it's close to our hearts, in a sense. They are close friends of ours as well. So we decided to launch it on Arbitrum, and basically on the pre-sale, it will be open up on 4 different chains. We'll be available on the ETH network, the BSC network, the ARBITRUM network, and the Polygon network. So basically, we will accept USDC into the dApp, and when the project starts, we will be paying out in USDC on the ARBITRUM chain though. Cross-chain is something later down the line, and maybe if you want to dive into that, then Snorky maybe can cover that, because
yeah, it's coming. Not from launch, but we'll get there.
Beautiful, beautiful. I hear ARBIDEX is going to be doing some interesting cross-chain expansions as well. So that'll be exciting for all of us. Okay. Let me see here. I think we've got a few questions from the community. One person I've seen, and I think that this is probably one of the more important questions that the community definitely needs answered. Let me see if I can find it here. Batman wants to know, what blend of coffee is Snorky's favorite type of coffee?
Yeah, my favorite blend of coffee is the one that I can mix in a hot cup of water for the moment. That's how lazy I've gotten.
That's beautiful. We've got a few more questions, and these are a little bit more in depth. Max asks about the 1% of the total supplies being sold in the pre and public sales. Is the team planning to put a counterpart liquidity into the LPs at launch to mitigate volatility?
Yeah, so the team is going to put up a partial liquidity pool into the I would say the LP side. What in terms of what level of supply, we are still figuring it out, because the truth is we are going to see how we're going to balance that with the airdrop tokens that are going to be given, because in actual fact, the I would say, because of how we've structured our tokenomics, the biggest factor that we're always concerned about and we are always keeping an eye on is basically how the airdrop tokens will sort of affect the whole LP side. But at the end of the day, what we do see and what we do and very encouraged by after speaking with the Madrid and also Jumpman is that what we're going to allow is the LP to sort of run on its own, in a sense, to sort of stabilize on itself and to find its footing, while the OTC market will sort of set the benchmark in terms of how we're going to pay out our USDC in. So I think what I like to always say, and I like to always explain it to some people, is that we think of the LP side more of like in a sense where it's like the futures. Well, the OTC is sort of like the spot buy. So the futures are always going to run ahead or run behind a little bit, and they're going to try to like predict in terms of like where the token's going to go. And as the revenue grows, the spot side will basically start growing as well. And this is where I would say there's an arbitrage opportunity that will be open up to everyone in that sense. And this will create a healthy balance between both sides.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful. I'm definitely a big fan of the combination of an OTC model and an LP model. You're allowing people to, if they weren't able to get in on the pre-sale or, miss those early entries into the project, you're allowing, some outside speculation, and, you can definitely see some good price appreciation for the token itself. And I think that one thing that is the main focus with KERC is it's not about necessarily the token's value. It's the return on your investment from when you purchased that token, and what that token is going to basically be a gateway to, right? The real revenue that you're earning from these medical real world assets. And then the combination, if you want to LP and farm on ARBIDEX, I mean, you have different options, but the main focus is it's not like necessarily a buy and flip coin. It's a long-term play where you're focused on a long-term return on your investment versus being mainly focused on the token price. And that's something I'm really excited about.
Yeah, for sure. You got it there, because I think one key thing that we also like to remind everyone about our project. What's the main difference is that when we talk about our fixed 1.5% payout and our profit participation, the 1.5% fixed it's sort of, the system is akin to sort of the bond pricing market system. So that means that even if, let's just say, for example, the token drops down to like I don't know, for example, 50 cents from the $10 that we sort of launch at, the payout is then going to be, I think, estimately about 3% to, I think, yeah, 3% then. So that would essentially double your value. So it's always going to follow a 1.5% fix rather than it fluctuating. So the token price will eventually stabilize on its own once it finds its footing, and when I would say the arbitrage people sort of make their way out.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Another question we have is, with the future plan for allowing medical services to be paid in KERC, do you have an exchange partner in mind to handle that point of sale settlement? I like the idea of letting people pay with credit card and the transaction being used to buy and settle in KERC, but I'm having a hard time conceptualizing the logistics. The fact that the on-chain side of the settlement will be immutable once on-chain, but a credit card transaction is not, keeps me from understanding how to avoid possible credit card fraud attacks that result in your business being charged back by a credit card carrier for transactions that have already been pushed on chain. That's a little that one's going a little hard at you there, John.
No, this is a good question, like for people who are thinking about our tokenization and how we're going to utilize the token in that sense. So the benefit here is that there's the arbitrage, and whatever that's going to happen is going to be within our own ecosystem. As of now, after speaking, like personally, I spoke to the point of sales guys and the Lightning Network sales guys. The system is going to work in a very rudimentary way before we start, I would say, going into a more dynamic system. So the rudimentary way is that basically we just set a price point a day on day on the OTC market that we sort of will be buying the tokens from. So the purchase of the tokens are going to be on our OTC market internally, treasury first, then it's going to be pushed onto the LP until we can sort of figure out with our partners. So obviously this is something that I guess us and ARBIDEX have, or maybe if we go to a SEX, we got to figure out how the dynamic system is going to work out, because as on a rudimentary system, the Lightning Network is actually quite simple. It's just a transactional process. It's just basically converting your fiat into whatever token you want to buy in terms of dollar value amount. So I would not have the complete answer for you yet, but on a very rudimentary level, it's very easy to execute.
Yes. I'm also familiar with some. I mean, there's one that's even called a Yoshi Exchange, to where you can basically have, we could set up and partner with them and have people be able to buy ARX with their credit card. So there's definitely many different possibilities in that front. Next question. Is transparency is important to me. Will the monthly performance reports be published by a third-party audit firm? As for the community members who will be flown out to verify every half year, how are those members selected, and how does a newcomer to the community become involved in this audit process?
So for the monthly performance report, obviously it's going to be coming from us, because audit companies audit you once a year. They don't audit you monthly. That's a sad part. So what will happen is that you will be able to tabulate whatever is published on the monthly performance report with the yearly report. So it will be, in a sense, it should tally in terms of accounting principles. There should not be anything missing in that sense, because we believe in I would say, putting a good standard towards this. So Philip G, our financial guy, is going to publish some quite detailed reports, I hope, in that sense, because I've seen some of the frameworks, and I guess my concerns are more in terms of security fears, whereby we might be publishing too much company information on the web. Which is a bit of a company suicide, because you might be giving out a bit of your trade secrets on how you optimize and how you do things. So I guess this is where the balance would sort of be. As for the question about the community members, it's going to be, I would say, a hybrid of raffles and voting. So because obviously we do want the community to vote on some people who maybe are more well versed in the accounting and auditing understanding and methodology, so it's better for them to sort of choose those people to come down. But at the same time, we obviously also want members who are invested in the project to come down rather than some random guy, because obviously that person would have the project in mind, and there's no bias and there's no skewed, I would say, angle towards that.
Yeah, I agree. That sounds terrific. Last question from him is: there's a lot of language in the documentation that suggests a vesting term is required to earn yield. Can you shed some light on what duration these terms will be? When the vesting term is broken for an early unstake and 40% of the tokens are taken as a penalty fee, what happens to those tokens? He says it looks like the vesting options are 3, 6, and 12 months. Is that correct?
Yep, that is correct. So that's our staking basically options that you can do. The reason why we went with that is because if any time, because we always need to prepare for the worst. So if any time there's a worst case scenario, if there's a run on token for some reason, I don't know why they'll ever be being as transparent as we are. We need to liquidate assets to basically pay back the pool, or to basically pay back investors for some reason or whatever it needs to do. We need time for that because real world assets are not easy to liquidate. You do need to liquidate them at a discount as well. So that's why we sort of structured in the 40%. Whatever we sort of structured in is with the mindset of akin this to as close as we can to a real world business. When let's just say, for example, someone breaks that unstake and loses that 40%, obviously those rewards will be basically pushed back to all the other holders, because at the end of the day, whatever that we have created, we know that it's a self-sustaining cycle, and this is basically more towards to discourage swing traders. The 40% D-stake is more to discourage swing traders, because you will be getting quite a lot of airdrops at the start for a lot of the early guys. So we don't want people to basically because technically if you come in during the pre-sale now, you ROI in month 6 to 11 depending on how fast you compound and stuff like that. So it can get quite scary for the newer guys. So we want to make sure that we don't get the older guys just unstaking and just dumping on the younger guys. So this is why we have quite a lot of systems in place to sort of prevent that and protect the newer guys as well.
Yeah, I love to hear that. I think that's something that, as an investor, you definitely want to know that there's a plan to create a long term stable ecosystem, right? And you want to essentially gear the investors, and you want the investors that are investing in your project investing with the understanding and the expectation that this is a long-term investment, not just a quick flip, so that you not only have very mature, seasoned investors investing from the beginning, but you're also able to attract investors down the road, knowing that the first ones that got in are here for the long haul. And so that would give me confidence 6 months down the road to go ahead and invest, because of all those points that you just named. So that's really great. Caveman asks, one last question. Are the stake rewards from your vested positions claimable on demand?
So your stake rewards are paid out to you, to your wallet, in a sense. So you're paid out in USDC. So your rewards are all paid out in USDCs to you, and you can basically do whatever you want with it. You want to buy more KERC, you want to compound, you want to ROI quicker, that's up to you. You do what you want to do. It's your money.
Okay. And so that's airdropped into your wallet, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And what is the sort of timeline on that? Is that weekly? Is that monthly, daily? How is that broken up?
So it's monthly. I won't go into the system of how we go about that whole thing monthly. I spoke about it in a few AMAs. I don't want to drag this longer than it needs to be as well.
Okay. All right. Caveman asks, crypto projects serve the English-speaking communities very well. Since these businesses are all in Southeast Asia, will you be targeting these countries in their mother tongue to drive more awareness and promote KERC locally?
Southeast Asia speaks primarily English in a sense throughout the whole region. It's more towards the rural side that don't speak English, but English is very commonly spoken. So there's not really. I think because where we are seeing ourselves being is we are trying to focus and target on the city centers first within Southeast Asia. So before we start moving out to more of the rural side, because when you talk about innovation and stuff like that, obviously you want people with the accessibility of smartphones and data and stuff like that on a more fly-to-fly basis. So definitely city centers are where we're targeting at. So for Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur is a big place to start with. Then we're going to the next states, in a sense the major states, before going to Thailand, then Singapore. Then our next expansion target area is basically the South American areas, because we do get more value for our dollar when we start in Southeast Asia. That's why we decided to start here.
Beautiful, beautiful. We're running a little low on time, so I'm going to kind of pick out some of these questions. Trent asks, will KERC be responsible for managing the clinics and staffing, or is it just acquiring and providing the hard assets / equipment?
So KERC will be handling everything eventually. Obviously, the reason why this whole project can work in the first place, because I really do have a real world business that sort of does this turnkey for some of our assets. So the reason why we can start paying out quite quickly, in a sense, basically our payout timeline is basically in a month after we close the pre-sale, is because I'm basically just going to bring in my team from the other side to start training the new people that I bring in from hiring from the KERC side to sort of run this whole business and this whole assets. Think of it as sort of Elon Musk bringing his Tesla team to Twitter to sort of fix the problems.
Mm-hmm. I like the analogy. I like it a lot. We'll go with one last question here. Will there be some burn mechanisms on the token to keep the price competitive?
Yes, for sure, because we are based on our returns and our projections, we are actually only pushing back 80% of our net profits to all the investors. We are retaining about 20% of our profits as what I'll call as a war chest, because in a sound business, you always want to have that treasury at any given moment to either, I don't know, fix a problem, handle any lawsuits, or touch wood of any shit like that happens. And also this gives us an ability to do any buybacks or basically do any sort of promotions as well if we want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. You definitely have to have a little bit of a nest egg to cover unexpected expenses and marketing and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So yeah, this has been a terrific AMA. This is one of the most innovative projects that I've seen come into the DeFi space. I think that the focus on real world revenue and being able to bring that into the DeFi space is something, like I said before, that we've really needed in this ecosystem, in this space, in this world. And so really excited that you guys are doing this and that you have the experience, and this is just going to be a very, in my opinion, I feel like it's going to be a very fluid, smooth operation. Do you have any kind of closing thoughts that you'd like to make, or statements on KERC or anything like that before we close up here?
Yeah, for sure. I'll go first, and maybe Snorky can add on to it as well. So join in our Discord in a sense. The pre-sale once again is happening on the 24th. There's a close sale happening on the 18th. It's not too late to get your whitelists available, and I'm sure Madrid also is giving away 5. We've given them a few whitelist roles, so it's up to him who he's going to give it out to, and how you get it. So if you have any other questions, I do see some more questions in the AMA questions site. Hop onto our Discord. Ask those questions there. I will never shy away from any questions. You can ask any of our guys there. I will happily answer all of them. I'm known to talk quite a lot, so forgive me for that. And yeah, I'll hand it off to Snorky for any closing remarks.
Yeah, I just like to say, please don't get wrecked playing with the price. That's it. And know that you can always take your tokens and make your money back, whatever happens. No panic.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's I think that's one of the greatest things about this project. You know, like he said, you guys, this is a very long-term return on your investment protocol. It's not something that you know, you're looking to quick flip, and I don't think that these guys are looking for investors that don't have that wealth building mentality, right? You know, where they're going to be purchasing real world assets. They, you know, that takes time, as John said before. If people are just kind of trying to use it as a quick flip, you don't want to have to be buying real world assets and then turning right around and liquidating those assets. But this is definitely a beautiful, beautiful protocol, a beautiful system that these guys are creating here. Be sure, I'll make sure to post their Discord. I dropped the white paper again. The white paper is pinned in our general chat as well. And, you know, as I said before, you guys know that we are very, very particular on who we bring forward to this community, who we partner with. This is only in the 4 months that we've been running. This is the second partner AMA that we've allowed in our Discord. And so, you know, that's just a testament to who these guys are, the product that they're building, and how confident and bullish we are as a team here at ARBIDEX on what KERC is building. So definitely make sure you guys get in there. We will be giving out some whitelist spots and some XARX to participants that were here in the AMA, community members that, you know, have asked some good questions. Definitely make sure you jump in there, show these guys some support. And this is definitely a project that I'm personally going to be investing in. So I definitely recommend everyone do their due diligence, do your research, check it out. The white paper is very detailed. These guys are very bright and have things laid out very well. And definitely check out some of the other videos and AMAs that these guys have done. This AMA will also be recorded, and hopefully we'll be able to maybe do a Twitter Spaces with these guys as well next week. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. John and Snorky, thank you guys so much for coming to ARBIDEX and speaking on your project. We really look forward to the launch and the partnership that we're going to be developing with you guys. And thank you guys very much for coming.
Yeah, thank you for having us, for sure.
Yeah, thanks a lot. This was amazing.
Thank you guys. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up here now. Catch you guys later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. We popped Snorky's cherry. Woo!
Woohoo!